Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we are back with the true end game here for Late Age Ctis. Yeah, we've got some crazy shit happening. We've been empowering a golem in Astral, and he is here in this throne. He's getting empowered again as we are getting ready to get. We've got two golems here empowering this turn, and we've got this guy casting Wish. So we're not too far away from having three Wish casters here, which will just lock in a W. Ulm is firing his horror cannon at us, and you can see having some mixed results here. Takes PD out here, kills some Reborn here. Everything seems to be going nice. This is horrors plus Ghost Riders. We managed to kill this, which sort of is, well, this is probably noteworthy. So that's kind of cool. This is 3 Hordes from Hell, I believe. But we have Tomb Guard, and Tomb Guard are basically immune. These guys are basically immune to Imps. 21 protection, they don't care. And Imps, I don't think have great MR. I know it's pretty good, 13. I was going to say the damage return would also probably be useful, but I don't think it mattered a ton there. So we survived that. More light rating. This is us doing a rather large conversion. Our conversions have gotten a lot more efficient over time. Part of it is we have more Astral Mages. And that means we can do, like, Soul Vortex onto our Communion Slaves, which gives us a lot faster kill rate. So here we got another 100 Soulless. Now, if you look at who died, it was about 36 of them are going to be, like, Worm Summoners. A lot of what we converted were Sages. So these are going to be essentially upkeep-free Astral Mages now. But also because Astral Corruption is up, this gives us Mages we can use to cast through that. This is a... Which golem is this? This might be a Pokemon golem. Nope. This is a Horror Harmonica golem. We have horrors coming in here. And... okay, and then we have a bunch of battles. So these are the normal phase battles. We just finished watching the magic phase ones. And you can see there's quite a bit. So we are attacking Ulm on a lot of fronts. And I think we'll do this from the map, but then we'll come back and look. So we went and pinged here, and we attacked with a force big enough. If you'll notice, this is very similar to the force we sent after like Erythia to Gymbait, where we've got some stuff in the back and the front, some stuff in the back, and then a guy with enough gems to gem burn. And we basically got a pretty good reveal in his script. Let's take a look at this army, though. So he's got a double line of Demon Knights that crosses the field. These guys are really good because they have the Fear Aura. This is not going to be as important against Ctis because we have really high morale troops in the form of our Tomb Worms. That's the main reason you get Demon Knights often is for the Fear Aura. Aside from that, though, they're very beefy. They have very high protection. However, this is less impactful in most cases in the deep late game because the Demonic Cleansing exists, and you can't really protection tank most things with Demonic Cleansing up. So that's kind of the other main thing about them is they have Demonic Cleansing. The fire resistance is also really nice for things like Flames from the Sky and stuff. But a few Bone Fiends. A couple packs of Fiends of Darkness. I love these guys. They're really good. A pretty big contingent of Storm Demons. Storm Demons, I think, are a pretty good pick here. Mostly, they don't have to worry as much about Demonic Cleansing because they're not in melee all the time. They'll still get, like, damage reversal reflected to them, and I think that'll interact with Demonic Cleansing, too. But I think they're probably the best demon to get against Ctis. However, these things, I wish there were 5 or 6 or 10 times as many of them. These Dark Finds are really good against us. These are the exact kind of chassis that can kind of ignore Blood Vengeance. They have really high hit points. You put some regen on them. They're not going to worry too much with this high MR, especially once you buff it with anti-magic. They're just not going to be too worried about Blood Vengeance. The worms aren't going to do enough damage for these guys to care. And they have armor-piercing attacks, which, especially with the strength buff, they'll just eventually grind through the worms. These, I think, are the best. We'll talk soon about things Ulm could do to win, because I don't think in any way this matchup was like 100% guaranteed that I would win this. But these, I think, are a very important part of the strategy. Anyway, you can see a lot of devils. Devils, I think, are really nice. I'm not sure how I feel about them against worms. I don't feel super strongly one way or another about them. They're fine. I think I prefer these guys. They're cheaper. They have 2 attacks. They're both magic attacks. I don't know. I think I prefer them. And then they're going to get better stats in darkness. I'm not sure. It could be the devils are better. I feel these guys probably are. Pretty big contingent of mages. Looks like about 30 mages of, retail mages. Some Zweihanders, a few Ghoul Guardians, which are going to be really good. Ghoul Guardians are amazing versus Tomb Worms. And then he's got a pretty big contingent of super elite mages. He's got a Tart Cyclops here with super high Earth Paths. This guy's just hanging out. He's got Archdevils, which are really tough. The Fairy Queens. And, like Flames from the Sky gear on them. Liches, multiple Liches, Vampires. This is a air-empowered Lich. So this is like super top-end, late-game stuff. But this is what you would expect to fight. So this is spooky. I have combined a ton of stuff over here, and we are going to ride out and fight Ulm. Let's go through the script. Because this is going to be really important. If we win this fight, we're probably going to win the game. So we're casting Rigor Mortis. We're also casting Demonic Cleansing. Demonic Cleansing is really important. It's going up on this Ctis, which has built-in, which has regen from items and then a ton of fire resistance. It's going to be pretty tough to kill. So and it's got morale gear on as well. So there's a very good chance this Ctis is going to be able to hold up Demonic Cleansing for the whole combat. But we've got a bunch of other things being cast. We've got, like I said, Rigor Mortis, which is going to go really well with Demonic Cleansing to fatigue out all the demons. We've got Anti-Magic and Invulnerability. We've got a small Communion basically being done by the vampires. We've got a decent number of Quickening casters. This guy's casting Quickening 3 times. We've got a decent number of basically retail white mages that are going to be doing Banefire and other things. Serpent's Blessing and Foul Vapors coming out. We've got our god set up to be a Communion Master with a hardwired Communion, right? Because we had some of the vampires here with Communions. I forget how many slaves we have. But our god is pretty tough. She's Astral 9. She also has Nexus tied to her, but in this case, I don't think we're going to lose her. She's also got Ritual. She's got Twiceborn. She doesn't have Ritual of Returning. I thought she did. But, she has a Ring of Returning. But, highly unlikely she dies with all this gear. I would say impossible almost, unless somehow, she got Magic Dueled at Astral 9, which is extremely hard to do. Anyway, we could lose Nexus. But Ulm and I share Nexus anyway. So in what essentially is going to come down to a 1v1 matchup with Ulm, I don't really lose much by not having Nexus. In fact, it probably works to my favor since I'm going to very shortly be controlling the alteration discount site for Wish, which means my gem income is going to be crazy without Nexus. And the gems that I'm making from that and then spending, I'm going to have to give him a rebate on through Nexus. So anyway, point is, losing Nexus wouldn't be a big deal for me exactly at this point. But still, we don't, I'm not trying to make that happen. We're trying to make that not happen. But her script is time stop, master and slave, master and slave, master and slave. And she has pretty decent pin gear. Well, 2. So we've got some Master and Slave. That's going to be able to hit demons. We've got Skeletal Legion coming out. We've got Wailing Winds. We've got Quickening Spam, another caster. Divine Blessing. Blood Rain. More Vampire Slaves. So I think we're at least at 4 total now. Rush of Strength coming out. And even more Quickening. And then we've got a Fog Warriors Mass Flight caster. So this is basically a fully replaceable army. But I think this army has a very good chance to kill this. I hadn't, at the time, done the math to know that it would work. But what I do know is it's going to be very hard, I think, for him to... Even though this is an extremely high-quality army, this is going to be a very hard thing for his army to kill before Rigor Mortis freezes all the demons, I think. And we're not risking that much. Even all these mages, like the vampires are immortal. We'll lose the slave matrices on them. The tarts could die. But, these guys are twice-borned, too. They have a fair amount of gear on them, or some of them do. We definitely don't want the mages to die, but I think, if it happens, it's not the end of the world. And we've also seen his script. We'll go through and look at it in detail. Okay, he's got Aerofend. No Fog Warriors yet. Turn 1 anti-magic. Rush of Strength. Darkness and Wailing Winds. And we don't have the protection buffs yet. But presumably they were coming. No sign yet of Will of Fates, but I'm sure that will come later too. Will of Fates, by the way, not a spell we're casting since our worms don't benefit. We're probably gym baiting this too, but I'm not sure. We'll just look at the raids here. So Ulm hit this with horrors and stuff. And then Ulm hit this again with demons. These don't combine, even though they were both cast by Ulm, because one is special monsters. The demons were owned by him. And then he sent in a few guys, but they bounced off the PD, so that's kind of funny. He also hit this. Failed. Oh no, this did take it. But we moved stuff in so that we actually won. He took it, and then we took it back the same turn. He took this, it looks like. We moved stuff here. We also know he's doing horror cannons. And when that happens, we're basically going to send stuff around trying to kill whatever he's raiding with to take a province after the horrors kill whatever's there. So, anyway, this is what we sent. It wasn't... Oh, no. Yeah, it wasn't quite enough. It almost was. We killed 10 out of the 15 guys. But we're also set up to storm this castle as well. And Erythia, I don't think, really has much over here. They could try to hit us with these things, but it's pretty desperate now. No ping or anything here either. And we've got pretty much the full suite of stuff. We've got a Holy Four here who can do Power of the Sepulchre. We've got, Queen of Air Elementals. This is a pretty tough army. I don't know why we have two Holy Fours. That's probably a little overkill. Better to spread those artifacts out, but hopefully we can remedy that soon. We've put this under siege. This is under siege. We've got these armies coming here. Both of these are combining to put this fort under siege. This will also cut off retreat routes, land retreat routes if he rides out and fights. Got this fort under siege. Controlling this fort, first of all, we need to take it back on principle. We don't want anybody to have permanently any forts they stole from us. And this is the only fort we've lost all game, so it'd be really nice to get it back. So anyway, we're storming that. This also is a very scary army. We've got a high commitment for us anyway of Sauromancers. And then a lot of good supporting mages. So these guys are in trouble. These guys... This golem's still empowering. This guy's casting Wish, so we've got 2 empowerments happening this turn. Coming up to the old Kalem Theater of War. Erythia is on top of this fort. We rode out with a few idiots here to try to see what was out here. The fort is at 700 wall integrity, so we're not too worried. We're on top of this Ulmish fort as well. This fort's not cracked. I do want to be very careful storming this because I think we are in range of this army, and we don't want them to lose. So we're basically putting a gym bait squad on here instead and moving the main army over this way. We just kind of want to be unpredictable, and I want to get armies into Ulm's back line. So we're going to be reasonably careful taking fights with like these little weak armies like this that can't really win a pitched battle. Yeah, so I think that's about it. The throne situation, we have now 5 thrones. We need, 6 thrones, and we need 8 to win. So we're trying to storm one of them this turn, and then we're attacking the other one we would need to win this turn. And I like very intentionally wanted to take at least one of the thrones I needed to win from Ulm, because I didn't want to like sneak the victory from him since he's been my partner all game. I wanted, him to get the chance to like fight me. So, yeah, and I think I might have even I can't remember. I think I told him I was going for this throne. But, yeah, I wanted him to have his day in combat. And if I lose, because Ulm was going to outscale me and win eventually, then so be it. That's how we'll lose. If I wasn't going to do that, there's a few other throne options we can probably look at here. I could make a play for this. I'd need to probably concentrate a bit more on Long Dead, but I would easily contest, I think, Underwater Thrones from Ulm. The Storm Demons are very good. So anyway, that's one of the thrones we could have gone after. If I really put my head to it, I bet you we could take it. The other thrones we could get are this one, which you can see we basically surround. And again, it would be the same sort of thing. We could make water-breathing gear for worms. That's the other option. Because worms are not amphibious. For whatever reason, maybe the snakes float. I don't know what it is. But yeah, they can't swim in the water. So we could bring water-breathing items too. That's probably the fastest way. I just spend casually some gems, and then all of a sudden there's a bajillion worms on top of this fort. So that would probably be the way to like sneak the victory. Going after some of these underwater thrones. Would I have done that if I started losing badly? I don't think so. I have snuck a win before throne rushing once in like 55 games. And that went up on the channel. That was the U game where I was playing U. And I was just getting like horribly outscaled. I forget, I think Karnak was kind of scaling the hardest maybe. I think Nabatim was also doing pretty well. Maybe Nabatim was losing ground to me a tiny bit, but I just remember distinctly, I think Karnak was winning. Like, I don't know, whatever it was, I felt like I was just completely losing the scaling battle, and I had to make a play for it, and I just went and throne rushed. That was not my most satisfying win. The only thing that was satisfying about it was winning with you, which is the wildest, craziest nation. So maybe in that case it's justified. But anyway, point is, I don't think I would do it. I think I would rather lose, because I like late game dominions too. I would rather like have a pitched battle against Ulm and have to figure out how to counter what he's doing than to just like sneak an Erythian throne and win. But that is the other vector for them to worry about. Let's see if there's other options, because I don't think I really even looked at the throne rushing option super hard. I did think about taking this throne from Ulm. The problem is this throne is in the old Kalem Patala Theater of War. And I actually don't have a ton of stuff over here. We lost a lot fighting Erythia in this area. And it's also probably the area farthest away from like my main troop and mage production areas. So we could make a play for it, and we are moving stuff in the area, right? Like you can see we're moving a small army in here. We're moving bits and pieces. You might be able to call an army over here. We're making moves to like go to take it. We're also moving another assassin force over here. No worms though. Where are these worms going? Oh, no, the worms are coming over here too. I don't know why I couldn't see them. But yeah, so we are coming over to make a play for this. And that's fine with me too. I just wanted to make sure I got one throne at least from Ulm. So this is my backup plan. Now, the other thing is we're putting on a decent amount of pressure all on our northern border with Ulm. You can see we're kind of gaining ground up here, even though we lost a little bit of ground near Vettiheim. But we're gaining ground up here, and we're basically just continuing to put pressure on. We've got counter raiders in most provinces. We've got things set up to deal with horrors if we get attacked. If he sends the perfect amount of horrors, he can probably kill almost any of our raiding parties. But we're usually sending things into every province. Like almost every province on the border has some kind of arrow going into it. Though clearly not all of them. Like this province is probably going to die. These mages are probably dead. But most things we have various arrows. Whoops. So like this province, we've got this guy coming in doing advance and cast. He can maybe kill some horrors with Bane Fire. Yeah, just a lot of things like that. If we look at the fort battles, there wasn't much. We took this last fort off Arco. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Oh, we got 121 pearls. Hope we sent the right amount. Yeah, we did. 61 to Ulm. Yeah, another conversion ritual. And this, yeah. I think we looked at those. I'm going to make sure we looked at all these real quick. Or not that we looked at all of them. What I just want to make sure is that we don't miss a major battle. I think the most important thing was that ping against Ulm. We lost a fair amount of stuff to Erythia here. This was like our lowest commitment style. This basically is a raiding force at this point. But yeah, they kill our mages. Yeah, this stuff just gets blown the fuck up. I mean, we killed 9 Draconians, but they get 19 or 16 Tomb Worms. This is a total win for Erythia. Yeah, God, that's a really good province. Where was this? Here it is. Ragadan. Yeah. We left a token force here. I mean, this is a significant loss. We lost a Tomb King and a White Mage. This, well, like 40-something death gems. Plus, there's probably a little bit of gear on them. So, yeah, that's actually a loss. But I don't think this army here can put a dent in this. It's too much. He doesn't have any real troops. It's just wolves and a little bit of Ectromos. There's no way, even with a big mage-supported army, I don't think they can kill this stack. So with that, let's go to turn 96. All right. And, yeah, we'll pull up turn 96 here. So, this is the penultimate turn. This is when everything's going to be tested to the limit for Ulm, because we have ridden out. So there's a few things that have happened. One is we also have been spamming flames from the sky. So this guy right here, even though we've got Astral Corruption up, he's soulless. So he cast flames from the sky, and we killed 206 units. This was this province here. Now, importantly, we're going to be hitting the Mage Core. That's the real reason to cast it. It's very unlikely we're going to kill demons with it, but killing mages is important. We cast it again, and we kill 195 units. Some of these are going to be wolves and things like that, but some of those are going to be mages. Now, the important mages, the people holding up important spells, we're expecting that they're going to have flames from the sky protection gear on them, but the retail mages are what we're trying to hit. So the third time we cast it gets blocked by a dome, and I don't think we cast it a fourth time. So yeah, we cast it 3 times. We had 2 go through, so that might have been us getting lucky. I don't know what dome was up. If there were 2 domes up, we got very lucky. We had some disease demons coming out and fighting their superiors. This might have been close, but I think we have a demon bane on this lady. Yeah. And, yeah, he doesn't even land on her. He probably would have killed her if he landed on her. So anyway, that's nice. That didn't work. Another disease demon. Well, I'll show you with a white mage. They're not going to kill these white mages. These white mages are tough as fuck. He's like, oh, you want to fight? Back to full health. Thank you for playing. Yeah, another Ctis. She kills him. He did kill a soulless warrior, so that's going to maybe interrupt some logistics. This guy ran into a tart. So yeah, Infernal Disease, this was one of the things I was saying is a good thing to try. Because if you can kill my commanders, then my guys suck. The problem is, as we've just seen, he casted 7 times and didn't kill anything important or semi-important. Yeah. The closest thing to important he killed was a soulless that may have been leading some troops. Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the main event here. Did some light raiding. I'm not even going to show that to you guys. Main event. We ride out against Ulm. So Ulm has his Grande Armée. He has all of the demons mustered by Ulm. Yeah, a ton of demon knights, a bunch of fiends of darkness. I wonder if he was doing Ritual of the Five Gates, because he has pretty much all of the types in equal measure, except for the cold ones. All right, let's just watch. Solar Brilliant. No, Arc. Because that was another thing we were bringing. Arc is very fucking good on Ctis. Ulm could wish for the Arc, by the way. He wouldn't really be able to use it to too much terribly good effect, but it would deny it from me. Okay, there goes Time Stop. Master and Slave is about to come out. Ulm's armies are getting buffed up with everything. We don't have any of the big protection buffs like Fog Warriors or Army of Gold or anything yet. Wait, please tell me Master and Slave didn't get cast. Okay, there goes Master and Slave. Now, we didn't get much, because he did turn 1 anti-magic, and that went off before the Time Stop Master and Slave combo. And his troops have pretty high MR. So, in fact, the only guys we really got were the humans. But, importantly, this is going to bog down the battle. These guys are going to be distracted. And why does that matter, you may ask? Well, it's going to matter because we're doing fatigue plays. There goes the second Master and Slave. More distractions, right? A bunch of these guys are back here just causing little problems. Ulm does now have the protection buffs up there. I don't see Fog Warriors yet. Fog Warriors is not trivial for Ulm to cast. So these guys have landed now. We have Demonic Cleansing up. Wailing Winds is up by both sides. Darkness has been cast, but so is Solar Brilliance, I believe. Or maybe that's the Arc. Does this do Solar Brilliance too? I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, importantly, we have Rigor and Demonic Cleansing. So if we look at these guys, they are at 51 fatigue. They also have Foul Vapors up. And they are slowly trying to chew through our guys. The problem, though, is the clock is ticking. That guy's at 70 fatigue. These guys are only at 40. The other thing is, and this is kind of hard to see because there's a lot of things happening, but Arc is also grinding away at the Ulmish army. Because none of these guys are sacred, they're going to be taking small bits of armor negating damage. They're going to be getting blinded. They're going to be getting a lot of things. And by this point in time, it's turn 14. and that means rigor mortis has set in. So the battle is basically over, and it's just a matter of time before our demons, not our demons, our undead, come and kill everything. Got this guy with the... oh, God. I'm not sure I should have had them on attack. Especially without a Ring of Returning. In general, I didn't want to have Ring of Returning on this fight, especially for the Arc Carrier, because I actually want to win this combat. This is not a throwaway army for me. This is like an extremely high commitment army. So the last thing I want to do is have this guy get sent home. But I probably could have put them on advance and cast spells rather than attack. Yeah. So, if we look at the Butcher's Ledger here, first of all, you can see we won a mighty bounty. Just so much gear. And Ulm needed all this gear to fight, because I nuked the shit out of him with Flames from the Sky. 3 Flames from the Sky casts. So if he was going to have any of these retail mages show up, he needed all that gear. But yeah, 658 dead from Ulm. Pretty much all the army's dead. Yeah, it's just a disaster. Importantly, though, I want to... I'm kind of tired here. It's just late at night. So my energy's a little low. But despite my energy being low, I don't want to unemphasize... Like, I want to emphasize that this army is very, very spooky. However, it's vulnerable to demonic cleansing. Things that they could have done to potentially win are, like, more weapons of sharpness casting, I think. Because he really needs the battle to be over really quickly, and he needs to chew through my stuff. And, like, these Demon Knights, which are really good, they don't have weapons of sharpness. So... I think they need stuff like that to chew through my army faster. And that way, you know, all the various things that... Basically, I was counting on the battle going long. I had things like the Arc. I had a bunch of, you know, it's Foul Vapors. I had Rigor Mortis, Demonic Cleansing. I mean, hell, my troops regenerate too. So, really, I was counting on a long battle. And Ulm, basically, to have a chance at winning it, needed to have either the battle really short or a different troop composition. So yeah, that was a pretty cool combat. I'll probably, as we close this episode out, I'll come back and watch it again. We also have another important battle here for an Erythian throne. Erythia does ride out against us with a pretty big army. So get out your popcorn for a second time this turn. And this is a reasonably high commitment army from us. You know, we've got Queen of Air Elementals, we've got Golems, we've got Tarts. So he's coming out. We've had 2 Master and Slave casts so far during time stop. I think we have about 600 or 700, maybe we have 800 troops. If we look at the battlefield enchantments up, Natural Storm, Relief, Darkness, Rigor Mortis, Wailing Winds, and Light of the Northern Star. There went Undead Mastery. And you can see we are very much quagmired. There's a lot of troops. So there's been so far at least 2 Master and Slaves and at least 2 Undead Masteries. Stealing a bunch of our shit. This is exactly what Erythia needs to do. With very good mage support. Rigor Mortis is setting in, though. This might be different RNG. Yeah, I think we're getting a battlefield replay. Wait, are we actually going to win this? No, we can't, right? It must be impossible. Okay, it is. But you can see how it was pretty close. I think in the real combat report, we ended up winning because it was like different combat RNG. Because it says our forces defeated the attacking forces of Erythia, and you can see he lost everything. So this is a kind of shitty way for the last big fight with Erythia to end. Because he basically loses everything, even though he won. It was a very Pyrrhic victory that he won, but it was an important Pyrrhic victory. It was a Pyrrhic victory he needed to win. But it's not hard to imagine how this could have swung. It could have been an important mage he had. Maybe, I'm not sure who, ran from Wailing Winds or something. And the subsequent battle, we stormed There's Nothing Inside and we won. But yeah, the game would not have been over if this replay bug didn't exist. Now, the replay bugs in general, guys, are not like true bugs in the sense that it's not like this didn't happen. This did happen, the battle report you see, with just a different set of RNG for the game. The problem is that when it processed what happened on the server, this is what happened, what we're seeing in the battle report, which is Erythia lost. But when the turn got sent to us and it sent us like the random seed for the battle, like the RNG seed, and then we loaded up, the game basically, it doesn't, the way Dominions works is it doesn't record every single move that happens with all the individual dice rolls. I'm pretty sure this is how it works, is there's basically a seed for RNG, and it basically just replays the battle, but with the same RNG seed, everything plays out sequentially, even though it's making a ton of like random calls. So if something changes, like there's a new patch and the unit gets plus 1 HP, it now survives, whereas it would have died in the previous version of the game. That will just change it's like the butterfly effect. It completely alters the course of history, such that now when this guy's doing a Banefire roll, he's using a different random number than he was before, because this other unit that was dead ended up attacking, and that took the random number before it in the sequence, etc., and you get this whole thing plays out differently. Nevertheless, this still is a shitty way for Erythia to ride out and die. But yeah. I think even in the battle we saw, he had only a handful of stuff left. I think he only had like, I don't know, a couple dozen mages maybe at the end, and maybe a lot of his stuff ran, so that would still have survived inside the fort, but it would have been pretty dire, because we got this fort under siege, we got tomb worms for days. I would have had to have moved in this reinforcement army, but yeah. The situation now, though, is, there's that shitty bug with the replay, but we do have a Holy 3 in here, so he's going to go ahead and claim this throne. And we are going to storm this castle. I think we haven't cracked it yet, but Ulm doesn't have anything in the region that can compare to this. This was basically everything he had. So we basically call the game here. Because it's like, hey, we can play it out, and Ulm can try to... I would have been happy to keep playing. I love late game. So I'd have been happy to like put rating pressure on all these forts. I think I'd already scripted part of my turn when we called the game. But yeah, we're just ending it now. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the last couple turns. Turn 97. So 96 was the last real turn. 97 was, I think, the turn we popped the fort, something like that. I know it's still not popped. Let me see if it's 98. I think this also is not the true last turn. I think this is the turn we issue storm orders. And you can see there's no movement. We've called the game. So we're storming. Ta-da. And then I'm going to pull up the final turn. And I will just flash up the sign of victory here. And next episode will be our breakdown of what happened. And in that, I think it's going to be a great one to tune in for. I'll talk about things that could have kind of been done better by various players. Ctis has gone through an interesting walk in Dominion 6, too. There's a lot of public outcrying due to the buffs they got in Dominion 6, but then also some of our definitely not abuses that we figured out that have since been nerfed into the ground. But yeah, that'll be fun to talk about. I want to talk about what Ulm could have done specifically. Arco, I think, would be an interesting nation to play through, how they could have played differently. However, I think they just got a little bit outmaneuvered in diplomacy. I think they played really well, too. I think they just lost... Like, they realized they were going to lose the war just due to diplomacy, and kind of... They still scripted their armies and stuff. But I think, actually, Erythia scripted armies super beautifully. I don't think anybody, including myself, was testing any of these late-game battles. I know Ulm tested some. Ulm tested not any specific battles, but he was testing how to fight Ctis in general. And Erythia might have done some of that too. But in general, I don't think anybody was testing like specific battles as the game went late. So we were all kind of rolling the dice and learning from our mistakes. So anyway, we'll talk about all of that, like things they could have done differently and things like that. When might have been good times to attack me, etc. So, and we'll go through score graphs and stuff. So tune in next time, and also, GG to all the players. And thanks to everybody who commented in these videos. Not only if you were a player in the game and sharing your thoughts, I know pretty much, I think all the major players have shared thoughts at some point in time. I know Arco shared thoughts. I know Ulm has shared thoughts. I know Erythia shared thoughts. I think Patala's chipped in, shared some thoughts as well. Caleb did for a good portion of the game as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think probably everybody did. Maybe some players didn't. Bogaroos shared their thoughts. They had really interesting thoughts that they shared. They were one of my first wars. Yeah, so thanks to everybody in the game. And then if you've just been commenting, following along, thank you to you, especially if you've commented on any of these videos. So I'll see you next time. We'll pull up score graphs. We'll talk about what people could have done differently. We'll talk about what I could have done differently. It'll be a good one. Until then, take care.